Yo, what is up guys, it's me Zach Lee and welcome back to the Zach Lee Show, where we talk about everything NBA related, news, updates, discussions, highlights, anything you can imagine. As always, I appreciate you guys coming back every single day, but now let's just get into the video. But first, a quick word about this video's sponsor, SeatGeek. If you're looking to get tickets to a game or any live event, there is no better way to do it than through SeatGeek. Best prices, made even better when you use the promo code SDC for $20 off your first order. Along with the best seats, it just doesn't get any better. That is a fact. It's a really great app. I'll have the links to it down in the description box below so you can check it out. Now though, on to the video. Gordon Hayward, you sir are a professional tease. Man has been teasing us all season long, giving us some hope that he could possibly return to the court. From directly saying that he is not ruling out a return all the way back in December, to video after video, picture after picture coming out showing that he is well ahead of schedule in his return. All of that, and then the biggest one coming recently when he uploaded about a 30-second long video to his Twitter account showing him doing some light shooting drills.
Bounce. 1, 2, 3. Quick, quick. Cross, between. Up. 4. We haven't pushed it that hard in a while. Just ramping up again. You got a lot of ball handling, a lot of shooting. We just gotta keep building it up.
And when that came out, people went crazy, actually starting to believe that he could come back. I was one of those people. You guys know this. All season long, matter of fact, I kept saying it's possible. It is possible. The timeline makes sense. He could possibly return late into the season, like almost right before the playoffs start. That was assuming everything went right in his recovery. And as far as we know, everything did go right in his recovery. So my hopes were up this season, and I'm not even a Celtics fan. I don't know why I was so excited. Maybe it was because the Gordon Hayward return will make this season even more interesting. Anyways, amidst all this hype, coach of the Celtics, Brad Stevens, had to come out and be the joy kill. As not too long after Gordon Hayward released that video on Twitter, Brad Stevens once and for all said that Gordon Hayward will not play this year. Period. He's not playing this year. I don't know what else to say. Is he progressing? Yes, it's great. And I think the videos are great too because it continues to show the progress. Because sometimes when you're in the midst of that long rehab, you don't feel the progress of the day-to-day the way now we all might see a video of somebody that hasn't seen him may see a video and say, man, he is really getting better. But he's a super long way from even being in a 1-on-0 workout where he's cutting. It ain't happening. Just over a month left in the regular season and he still hasn't gotten his body 100% back to even playing basketball again. You heard how tired he was in that little video with him doing some light drills. He still have to, like Brad Stevens said, work on his way into doing intense drills by himself, cutting into the lane, posting up, the more physically demanding task on a basketball court. Then after that, he'd have to start playing 1-on-1, doing 1-on-1 drills and 3-on-3, 5-on-5, all of that within a month. And then to top all of that off, he'd still have to come back and actually play in a game, because there's a difference between doing 5-on-5 drills and actually playing in a game at NBA speed for 48 minutes. And then the Celtics would have to try and reincorporate him into the team. Not even reincorporate, because he was never really incorporated in the first place since he went down so early in the first game of the season. It's just so much stacked against him. There's not enough time left for it to make sense. So I am ready to close the books on this whole Gordon Hayward possibly coming back this year thing. That being said, I'm not ready to close the book on the Boston Celtics just yet. As of right now, the Eastern Conference is still wide open until we see how good the Cavs can be once they get their act together with all the new pieces and Kevin Love comes back. Until we see that, there is no favorite to come out of the Eastern Conference. There's still Cleveland. No matter how inconsistent they may look, they still have this guy named LeBron James. The Boston Celtics, the only reason I don't have them as the favorite is because they're lacking that go-to number 2 guy in offense. They don't have Gordon Hayward right now. Then there's Toronto, and they would easily be the favorites had we had any proof Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan would be able to elevate their game in the postseason. Heck, maybe even Milwaukee could have a chance once Malcolm Brogdon returns and Jabari Parker gets back to looking like Jabari Parker. So the Eastern Conference right now is a complete wild card. All that being said, I still believe that this Gordon Hayward injury was a blessing in disguise for the Boston Celtics, and I feel terrible saying that. I would never wish this type of injury upon on him or anyone else in the league. But let's just face some facts here. It did help the progression of this team going forward. They'll be better next year than they would have been if Gordon and Hayward played this year, because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and a bunch of other players had to have much bigger, increased roles, which expedited their development as players. So now you take that, you take the massive leaps that those players made this season, and now you add Gordon and Hayward to that next year along with the development that they'll make over the summer, and that will be a much deadlier team than it would have been had they had Gordon and Hayward all year long. Next up, we have a bit of an update on the Damian Lillard versus Russell Westbrook beef, if that's what you want to call it. And this requires a bit of backstory. And all of this started back when the All-Star teams were announced, and Paul George was originally snubbed from the Western Conference All-Star team, where the players out west were picked to go to the All-Star game. Then after that, you had Russell Westbrook coming out and taking shots at other players who he feels weren't as good as Paul George, or Paul George should have had their spot in the All-Star game. And one of those players was Damian Lillard, when Russell Westbrook said that some players only got in because they complain about getting snubbed every year.
Complaining about getting snubbed till they get in.
To which Damian Lillard responded by saying that he was disappointed in Russell Westbrook's comments, and that Russell Westbrook should know as well as anyone else that he deserves to be an All-Star.
It was kind of disappointing to see him say that, because he's played against me. He's played against our team. He knows what I've accomplished, not just this year, but over my career. So it was a little bit disappointing.
So after that, we thought there could have been a little bit of bad blood between Damian Lillard and Russell Westbrook. However, that is apparently not the case, as before the Blazers played the Thunder yesterday, Damian Lillard came out and said that there is no beef, that he and Westbrook are cool. He walked up to each other and literally laughed about it. He was the first guy I saw. As soon as he came in, we made eye contact. We both laughed. He was like, "Man, you know better than that." I said, "I know, but you know I take exception to everything." We literally laughed about it. I would love to see a Damian Lillard versus Russell Westbrook rivalry. I love NBA rivalries because they make the game much more fun to watch, but I guess we won't get to see that. However, it is good to know that Russell Westbrook isn't insane and that he does acknowledge Damian Lillard as an all-star level player, because if you say that Damian Lillard isn't an all-star level player, like he didn't deserve to be in the all-star game, that I don't know what to say to you. It's been a while, but Nike jerseys are back to ripping. Granted, this was on purpose, but still it looked so easy. Take a look as Jusuf Nurkic completely rips his jersey in half after picking up his third foul in the second quarter of yesterday's game.
That is the third foul on Nurkic.
It looked like he was ripping toilet paper. It legit did. However, this wasn't the only thing that Jusuf Nurkic was involved in yesterday, as he did a mini version of what Jeff Teague did to Ricky Rubio in the night before. In transition, he came up the court and just decked Steven Adams.
On Felton and finds the back of the iron from three. Portland shooting 5 out of 14. Adams sent tumbling. The whistle blows, and Westbrook and Nurkic, they have history. Well, the Pistons got to go look at that.
Now, Jusuf Nurkic is trying to be more of an enforcer guy for the Portland Trail Blazers this year. He's trying to do some more of the dirty work, be the big tough guy down low. But there's no denying that this was a little bit of a dirty play, and that's what makes it extremely surprising that he didn't even pick up a flagrant 1 for this. We saw Jeff Teague get a flagrant 2 for something a little more extreme. I wouldn't say this warranted a flagrant 2, but a flagrant 1 easily. And what was really strange about this is that Russell Westbrook actually was the one who got a technical foul, and all he did was come over and stick up for his teammate. The Lakers are out here trying to scheme on some other teams. Remember when Luol Deng started the first game of the year for the LA Lakers and hasn't played since? Matter of fact, he hasn't even been active. He hasn't been in uniform in the longest time. Well, get this. According to Luke Walton, it's not because Luol Deng doesn't have any skills and is not a good player anymore. Matter of fact, he said the opposite yesterday, as Luol Deng was active for the Lakers for the first time in a very long time in their game against San Antonio Spurs. And after that game, Luke Walton was quoted saying this: "He's still really good at basketball," referring to Luol Deng. Look, LA, I get it. The off season is coming up. This is your chance. Maybe by you at least having him in uniform and coming out and saying, you know, he's actually pretty good at basketball still. You can sucker some poor team into believing it and taking Luol Deng off your hands. I get it. At this point, that's all you can do. You gotta try and scheme. After all, when asked about trying to trade Luol Deng right after the trade deadline, Magic Johnson just laughed. That was his response.
Did you guys have any substantive conversations that would have gotten you off of the Deng contract?
We wish, huh?
He laughed at the idea of being able to trade Luol Deng. So these are the measures that the Lakers are taking now in order to trade Deng. And no shots fired to Luol Deng. He's been a really good sport about all this. He wants to play, but hasn't been able to, and he hasn't been complaining at all. Then again, if I was getting paid as much as he was to sit on the bench, I wouldn't be complaining either. It seems like Stan Van Gundy's time in Detroit could be coming to an end, and speculation continues to grow around the safety of his job. Speculation is that Van Gundy will need to make the playoffs to keep his coaching job. He's completing the 4th year of a 5-year deal worth $35 million. And yesterday, when Van Gundy was asked about the speculation if his job was on the line, he had this to say: "Nothing has been said, so I won't even comment on that. I don't have any idea. It's Tom's teams, and he'll make whatever decisions he wants to make, and we'll go from there. Personally, I'd be very surprised if Stan Van Gundy was still around in Detroit after this season." Sure, Detroit hasn't had their starting point guard for a very long time now. I think it's almost been like 30 games, but still, some of the losses and some of the ways that they have been losing is inexcusable, especially since acquiring a talent like Blake Griffin. It just hasn't worked out. I don't know what Van Gundy's vision for this team is going forward, and I don't know if he's part of this team's vision anymore going forward. That does it for all the news and updates from yesterday, though. Now we have to take a quick look at the games from last night. Make that 15 wins in a row now for Houston. Give Boston all the credit, though. They made the Rockets work for this one. Was probably their most hard-fought win of this win streak. 123 to 120 the final score. James Harden did a lot of everything with 26 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds, as well as 5 steals. But you could argue that Eric Gordon was just as important off the bench, as he was on fire, scoring 29 points while connecting on 7 of his 11 triple attempts. The Rockets just have so much firepower. Offensively, this is probably the best Cavs have looked since the All-Star break, but their defense took a few steps back as they let Denver shoot over 50% from the floor and 50% from deep on their way to scoring 126 points. 126 to 117 the final score. Gary Harris, an extremely underrated player in the league, scored 32 for the Nuggets, while LeBron James posted his 13th triple-double of the season with 25 points, 15 assists, and 10 rebounds. The Lakers continue to play some great basketball, now proving that they can beat some of the better teams in the NBA too. Granted, the Spurs were not only without just Kawhi Leonard, but LaMarcus Aldridge as well. However, a win is still a win, and the Lakers, they were without Brandon Ingram, even though that's not a fair comparison or anything, but it's whatever, all right, whatever. 116 to 112 the final score as LA mounted a comeback in the 4th quarter. Randall was great again for LA with 25 points. KCP had another nice game with 18 points and 13 rebounds. Thomas played well off the bench, 21 points and 7 assists, and Lonzo was huge. He hit a couple of late threes, finishing with 18 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds. 5 straight wins now for LA. Frustrated Yusuf Nurkic or not, it was the Thunder who went home frustrated last night as the Portland Trailblazers continue to win. They are the 3rd seed in the Western Conference right now. How many people were predicting that when the season started? Round of applause to them, for real. And another round of applause to Damian Lillard, who has been brilliant this year. He was on an unbelievable stretch of basketball before last night. In the month of February alone, he was averaging over 30 points per game along with 7 assists. He did have an off night from the field yesterday, but that's to be expected when he's been playing as well as he has been. Only 20 points on 5 of 18 shooting. But like I said, the Blazers still got the 108 to 100 win over OKC. Blake Griffin had his best game scoring wise since being traded to the Pistons, as he scored 31 points, but Detroit's lack of a starting point guard continues to haunt them as they fall to the Miami Heat. A huge loss as the Pistons were trying to chase Miami for the final spot out east. 105 to 96 the final score. Josh Richardson and Kelly Olynyk both scored 17 for the Heat. Can I say that I think it was for the best that Detroit didn't draft Donovan Mitchell? He wouldn't have been able to do the things that he's doing right now on the Pistons because SVG would not give him a chance to. Mitchell continues to be great for the Jazz, and the Jazz continue to win. 98 to 91 the final score for Sacramento. D-Mitch with 27 on the night. The Orlando Magic are back. I repeat, the Orlando Magic are back. They had a rough 55 to 60 games in between their hot start, but they are back. Let me chill out. Look, they did get another win yesterday. Their second in a row, 107 to 100 over the Grizzlies. Evan Fournier and Big Vooch each scored 19 for Orlando. And that wraps up all the action from yesterday. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more daily NBA videos, as well as join the quest of 200,000 subscribers, hashtag a million a year. Remember to vote for the player of the day, but also remember the only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, that player was Russell Westbrook with his 43 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see all of you right back here tomorrow, but until then, I am out of here. Peace!